Hello everybody and welcome back to the Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations walkthrough. We are so very close to the end of Bridge to the Turnabout now. Like, so incredibly close. Because this is the final stretch. This is the last week of commentary that you will see for Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. So it's only taken me like many years to finish off the Ace Attorney trilogy, but it is finally going to be done. And to kick off this big final blockbuster week, it is time to cross-examine Dahlia Hawthorne. So yes, the plan all along was to kill Maya Fey. Which is just really awful. I mean, one, why would you want to kill your own niece? That's just awful. But also, I mean, you know, the whole thing of branch families and Morgan Fey's clearly ridiculously power hungry. But also to get your daughter to try and kill her cousin without realising that that was what was going to happen is just awful. But yes, I have to say, thank God that Dahlia hanged. She totally deserves every little piece of pain that she received. And, wow. Like, you think Morgan Fey was nuts before? She's even more nuts now. And to just come up with this plan is just, it's cruel and evil and awful. And yes, I mean, you'll probably notice this is a rather long part. One of two, actually. Because this is entirely Dahlia's part. And then obviously the other ridiculously long one is the last one. So we've got two massive parts which my brain is just going, please no! Because as you are probably aware that I don't really deal with long parts all that well. At least not these days. My brain's just slightly mushed. Because it's got so many other things going on in it. And also, I'm getting old now. Yes, nearing mid-20s. That's clearly old. And also, I mean, it's quickly coming up to my 8th YouTube anniversary with this channel, which is just, it's insane. Like, I have been doing this for nearly a decade. Like, my god, it just, I can remember starting this channel all those years ago and thinking, oh, this'll be fun. And then I look back at the stuff that I did now and I'm just like, oh my good god, that is awful. How did I let that out? But you see, I was young. I didn't know any better. And now I do. You see, it's things like this, like if I went back and watched my original Ace Attorney walkthrough, even now I'd look at that and think, ugh. Because obviously the way I did the layout, because I had them overlapping, and I had like all the stuff going on, and I thought it was cool at the time, but this setup that I've got going on now, I feel is actually much better. Because even though I've got a little bit of black space, it kind of works. Although, I suppose it does sort of make the screen look a little bit phallic, shall we say. If you just look at it on its side. I've not noticed. Oh god. That's really bad. But either way, this looks better. It looks neater and tidier. and you've got all the information you need. It's branded, so you can tell that this is my walkthrough and mine alone. So nobody's gonna be able to nick that and get away with it. And yeah, you can also just tell how far I've sort of come in terms of the commentary. You can tell rambling a lot. Still haven't done as much trivia as I would have liked to in terms of the Ace Attorney franchise, but you see, it depends on the type of game with these sorts of things. Like, when you're dealing with a platformer or an action game, there's a lot going on, and because the core gameplay tends to stay the same, you're constantly dealing with new areas and new events, and they bring up a whole lot of trivia, because you can also get the music and all that jazz. Ace Attorney, you've got pretty much the same locations for the most part. You end up dealing with the same characters for long stretches of time, and also it's a visual novel type game. And those are always the most difficult to commentate over. And to be fair, I don't know why I was crazy enough to think, yeah, let's do the Professor Layton series by myself. Let's do the Ace Attorney series by myself. Because there is only so much that one person can say. And clearly, considering, you know, my odd speaking pattern, just because I stop and then continue after quite a long pause, it's sort of the Alan Rickman effect, I feel. I mean, basically the reason for that is because most of the time I'm just spewing. Words are just sort of coming out of my mouth, and the thought process is not necessarily working as quickly as it should be. And so whenever I pause, it's because I'm thinking of exactly what I'm going to say next, because that's when I want to try and make a point, and therefore my brain has to go, wait, stop, go through this before it comes out of your mouth, because otherwise it's going to sound stupid. And sometimes it does still sound stupid, but you know, it works for me, because it means that I can get everything that I need to out. And even if it means pausing and just taking a couple of moments that sort of breaks up my speech pattern, it means that I can kind of figure stuff out. And now that everything is over, and all that little quite long discussion about everything, Dahlia is revealing something quite suspicious. So, Elise Donim was the one who summoned or channeled Dahlia Hawthorne. Clearly, obviously, because it's Misty Faye, she knew of the plan, and therefore she channeled Dahlia to prevent Pearl from getting involved. And, oh dear. That's not looking good. That's really not looking good. And also, this is the other thing that's really quite amazing and clever about this piece of testimony, is that, as Dahlia said not too long ago, there is nothing that we can do to her to punish her. She's already dead. She's just inhabiting a body right now. And yeah, she's got nothing to lose. But this is very, very strange. She doesn't remember killing Maya, which is good. That's very good, because that suggests that Maya's still alive. But the fact that there's blood and so on and so forth is just a little bit concerning. And there's a gap between Dahlia, aka Misty Faye, getting stabbed, and Dahlia waking up in the Sacred Cavern. So obviously something happened. Oh. So, there was somebody else on the island. I mean, there are clearly... Well, there's clearly at least one other person who would have been on the island, and that would have been Pearl. And we already know that Pearl went into the trading hall, so... that happened, which would have interrupted Dahlia's escape. But I'm beginning to feel like there's another person involved, because there's no way in hell that Maya would have killed anybody. Like, she just does not have it in her. And this clearly is when the switch took place, so poor Iris. Getting brought into the whole awful situation and then getting locked away in Dahlia's place. So, well, at least it does mean that something's relatively okay. That whoever was in the Sacred Chamber was only in the... well, that Maya got out. I mean, Maya may not have returned. It's very confusing. And yeah, this is all stuff we already know. You don't need to repeat it, Doug. Well, matricide is bad, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's the worst sin anyone could commit. Because, I mean, matricide's bad as is patricide and infanticide, but I would argue that genocide is probably quite a lot worse, because obviously that's a huge number of people, rather than just your mother or father or child. Obviously it's still awful. Like, really awful. But, yeah, would disagree on that statement. And Dahlia's logic is relatively okay. Like, it all makes sense. But she's missing one very important fact. Like, one very important fact. And, oh? Have to say, I do like that Goddo's ringtone is his theme song. It's just like, I mean, you can tell that he's ever so slightly narcissistic. Ever so slightly. And so it makes sense. And, yeah, so everything that Dahlia said was correct. Iris was the one who got locked up, so Maya is nowhere to be found. She wasn't on the island. So I would say that there's one of two places that she could be. One of which is indeed at the bottom of the Eagle River, dead as a doornail. The other gives us actually quite a bit of hope. It's... Judge. It ain't over till it is over. Like, please, can you stop implicating Maya in murders that she's clearly not guilty for? And hopefully, Goddo has figured it out. Indeed, once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth, no matter how improbable. So, what Dahlia suggested is certainly possible, but yeah, there is that kind of problem. The bridge was already burning when she saw it, therefore if she'd jumped, she would have landed on the rocky shelf, and therefore we would have been able to see Maya's smushed body. So, yeah, it's kind of impossible for that to happen. Which means that there is one other possibility. And that's just even more exciting. So, yes, we do have evidence that the temple map, because of the rock shelf, because it goes all the way along. I mean, she could have, you know, tried to climb over the mountain and died up there, but they would have found her, probably, you would have thought. And yet, you would have thought that Dahlia would have remembered this fact because it's been used against her. Twice now, I feel. She's clearly, like, she's manipulative and evil and sort of clever at times, but she's clearly incredibly dense. There is, as I've said many times before in this part, there is one place she could indeed be hiding. Because, you see, the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne is being channeled by somebody. And there's a spirit medium who is channeling her. And there is only one person that could be channeling her after Misty Faye died, because Pearl couldn't summon Dahlia, therefore there's only one other spirit medium left remaining on the Inner Temple bit, and that's Maya. Yeah. No. And you see, part of the main reason why that it can't be Pearl, one is obviously because we've seen Pearl and Pearl's not channeling her, and she couldn't channel her, but also the hair colour would be different. We'd be seeing Dahlia with brown hair and not black, because we've seen Pearl summon Mia and Maya summon Mia, and they always take on the clothing and hair colour of the person channeling. Therefore, The person channeling Dahlia Faye, or Dahlia Hawthorne, is Maya Faye. And thank God she's alive. And the pursuit is on. You are cornered, Dahlia Hawthorne. Because, yeah, if Maya channeled Dahlia, then Dahlia can't kill her. Because that would require Dahlia stabbing herself, because she'd have to know that she was being summoned by Maya. But she clearly didn't. So, well, she thought it was Pearls, and she has no reason to kill Pearls because that's not part of the plan. So, yeah. You failed miserably, Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, it's so satisfying to just put the boot in.
Objection!
Well, there are a couple of people, but yeah, Mia. Thank God this occurred when it did. And yes, this is Pearls channeling Mia, and oh, just everything about the end of this section of the trial is just glorious. Because you have Mia here, you have Dahlia, you have Goddo, you have the judge, you have Nick. Pearls is here in body but not spirit. And we're just gonna nail Dahlia Hawthorne and ruin her hell. And yeah, the plan was a failure, and it's another failure to add to the pile of shame. And just the burn that Nick and Mia are going to land on Dahlia right now is, oh, it's just beautiful. It's just so perfect. And yeah, she's pretty much lost it. And now Mia's gonna land the final burn. Haha. And there, alive and well, is Maya Fey. Oh, the poor girl. She's been through so much. And now, you can see why this part ended up being as long as it is. Because we had to deal with the entirety of Dahlia's testimony and eventual demise in one fell swoop. And at that point, we might as well just go to the end of this chunk of the trial, because it's split into 3 parts with saves. And this is sort of the end-ish of that second chunk. But we've solved parts of the crime, so we know the motives, we know the hows-ish, but we've only really dealt with the murder plot to kill Maya Fey. We've solved all that. We've solved how the body got to where it got, but we haven't actually solved who killed Misty Fey. Because it weren't Dahlia, and I have to say it weren't Iris. And I disagree with it being Maya. Ergo, we've still got a murderer on the loose. Because yeah, we've solved some of it, but not all. And even if she's an evil spirit and cruel and a loser for all eternity, she has just implicated Maya in being the murderer. We know it's not true, obviously, but yeah, we kind of need to find out who the actual murderer is. So, yeah, it's kind of a problem. And this is another reason why I like this trial so much, is because you get to a point where you're just like, yes, yes, yes! It's over, we've done it! Ah, yeah! Fist pump! High fives! All that jazz. And yeah, it's not over. And so the trial goes on just that bit longer than it normally would, and it's just so insanely epic. Yeah, there's only one person who saw the event, and she's the only person who can solve this for us. Maya has got to testify. She's been through a lot, and she's gonna have to go through more. Which is awful, but needs must. I mean, to be fair, he does have a point. Someone generally does always come to our rescue. But, I mean, next up, well, he has solved more than a couple of cases by himself, without the help of anybody else. So, you gotta give him some credit. And yeah, there's still something that Iris isn't telling us. Even now, after all this time, she's still not telling us something. And, annoyingly, this is what empathy can do to you. You feel sorry for people, and then you do things for them and get colossally screwed over. Like, it's not particularly helpful, but these things happen. And sometimes people are willing to do stupid things because they care. And they care too much. And yeah, she can't hide from that one. She really was the one who cleaned up and moved the body. I mean, I have to say, it's surprising they've got cell phone reception up there. Like, oh my god, I just called it cell phone reception. Phone reception, mobile phone reception, come on, you're British. Use British mannerisms and words. Don't get Americanized, please. But yeah, it's a surprise that there's any reception up there at all. So, it's a good job it did. I mean, it's not a good job it did because, you know, that would have meant that we could, you know, solve this crime relatively quickly. Or somewhat quickly, I don't know. But it's given us a good case. So I suppose that's something, isn't it? It's a bit of fun. I know someone's dead, and that's awful. And it's particularly awful because, you know, Maya saw her mother get murdered. And also her body was then, you know, desecrated afterwards, but she's still decent. It's been a fun case. I enjoy it. I like it. It's deep and awful and emotional and all that jazz. And yeah, she's not going to give us a name, which is really annoying. But the end of the game is nigh. Dahlia Hawthorne is no more. There is only one section of the trial left. And Maya's gonna have to take to the stand. And yeah, she's gonna take this all hard. Like, really insanely hard. So Nick's really gonna have to be there for her once this is all over and done with. And really, probably should have figured out who the murderer is right now. I mean, to be fair, it should have been obvious the second we got to the inner temple. But it's all going to come out in court. So, let's finish this once and for all.